So it seems like the Bud Light situation has now gone so political that it has reached the likes of the Senate, apparently, where we have this one of the senators, Ted Cruz, talking about wanting to launch an investigation into Bud Light or Anheuser-Busch as a whole because of their collaboration with Dylan Mulvaney. He's basically insinuating that by them collaborating with Dylan Mulvaney, that is Bud Light advertising their beer to underage people because a lot of underage people follow Dylan Mulvaney on TikTok. And when that ad was placed on TikTok, that's essentially what happened. Now, while I love to see Bud Light in trouble, I think that what Ted Cruz is saying here is definitely a reach, but I want to learn more about it. So we're going to get into the article, guys. But of course, before we do, just consider giving this video likes. You could push us out into the YouTube algorithm and consider subscribing because we're on our way to 19,000 subscribers. It says a Texas Republican demanded the beer industry investigate on its own or have Anheuser-Busch apologize for the alleged Mulvaney infraction. Now, the thing is, if you're trying to bring something up about underage kids and whatnot, I don't think an apology will ever be enough. So I think that the whole apology thing is definitely a publicity stunt of some kind or trying to garner some sort of reaction publicly. But other than that, I do want to see what they have to say. So it says Senator Ted Cruz, Republican Texas, this week opened a Senate investigation into his allegations that Anheuser-Busch markets Bud Light to underage consumers in its ad featuring transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney. In a letter to Anheuser-Busch CEO Brendan Whitworth, Cruz and Senator Marshall Blackburn also asked the beer industry trade group Beer Institute, which Whitworth chairs, to conduct its own investigation, or the company could say it's sorry for any infraction and publicly disassociate from Mulvaney to avoid further inquiry. The senators wrote, making their actions appear more like a publicity stunt. Well, there you go. It's exactly what I was saying. Now, here's the thing. So by saying they should just apologize publicly and then all is forgiven, that just doesn't make it seem like what they're doing is a bad thing inherently, because if you're willing to just walk away, if they say, I'm sorry publicly, then clearly it's really not that big of a deal. I think they should have just went forth with the investigation. That would have led with much more power behind it than requesting an apology as a secondary means of basically getting away from all this stuff. If you are trying to say that partnering with Dylan Mulvaney is a bad thing, then you need to investigate. You need to go all the way as far as you possibly could so that they realize that they need to drop this. They need to stop what they're doing, which, I mean, they already did considering the backlash. But if they didn't, they would have realized that with thorough investigation through and through by both the Senate and anybody else involved in the beer industry, yes, it would have made them stop. It says, we would urge you in your capacity at Anheuser-Busch to avoid a lengthy investigation by the beer institution by instead having Anheuser-Busch publicly sever its relationship with Dylan Mulvaney, publicly apologize to the American people for marketing alcoholic beverages to minors, and direct Dylan Mulvaney to remove any Anheuser-Busch content from his social media platforms. The letter repeatedly misgenders Mulvaney, who uses she, they pronouns. Well, it's a dude. It's just like, there's no misgendering. Stop the nonsense. But here's the thing, too. So I do think it's a bit of a reach to say that he's marketing alcoholic beverages to minors, right? So with TikTok especially, I don't believe there's a way to age keep your content. And if there is, people like Dylan Mulvaney are not going to do it. You can't get famous unless you literally advertise your content to people under 18 on TikTok. I think it's impossible. For you to age gate yourself is going to be very difficult for you to grow a following on that platform. And people like Dylan Mulvaney know that. Not only that, younger viewers are definitely easier to control and manipulate and make believe what you're saying, especially in terms of the transgender bullshit ideology. So of course they're going to go for the younger audience. But I don't think he was necessarily trying to promote the beer to them as in like, hey, you guys should drink this beer. I think he was basically just being a hardcore narcissist and reveling in the fact that he got paid to promote a can that he himself is now reaching 365 days of pretending to be a woman. I think it had a lot to do with his narcissism. And also the fact that he got paid to do it. Ultimately, at the end of the day, he got paid money for it. So yeah, so as a one-time ad on his platform, yeah, I guess in that aspect, you can argue that they were promoting beer to kids. Like I said, it's a reach because you would have to prove that the majority of the people who watch him are kids. But if that's the case, then TikTok shouldn't allow sponsored posts for anything, really. If you are providing content for people under the age of 18, you shouldn't be allowed to have sponsored posts for literally anything, because then at that point, anybody could say that you're paying to promote XYZ product to children if most of your fan base is under the age of 18. So I think that's an issue on TikTok as well, not necessarily Dylan Mulvaney. Dylan Mulvaney is just the ultimate grifter. He's going to go for as much money as he possibly can with the easiest way that he can. And I don't blame him for that. Really, at the end of the day, women are allowing him to pretend to be a woman and take everything from them. So if that's the case, take it all. Take all the money you can. Take all the positions you can. Take all the sponsorship you can away from women because they're letting it happen. So just fuck it. Whatever. Who cares? Mulvaney, a 26-year-old actor who chronicled his transition to a wide audience on TikTok appeared in a one-off Instagram post promoting Bud Light for March Madness. He showed off a can with his likeness that the brand made especially for him. I like how this particular article from Huffington Post specifically overly uses certain words so they can throw in as many pronouns as possible so people know that they're the woke ones. Like they're the ones who are going to get this right, ladies and gentlemen. I think they said her and she God knows how many times. Interesting, they didn't really say they too much. It says the post set off a conservative frenzy resulting in a boycott that sent Bud Light sales swooning. Can we stop blaming conservatives for the boycott anymore? Like, it's not just them anymore. Both sides are boycotting Anheuser-Busch at this point. It's been proven. There's so many articles out there talking about it. There's so many videos showcasing examples. Can we just stop lying and saying it's a conservative-only boycott? Because it's not anymore. It says Cruz and Blackboard focused their complaint on the title of Mulvaney's TikTok series Days of Girlhood and his use of the word girl elsewhere. The use of the phrase girlhood was not a slip of the tongue, but rather emblematic of a series that Mulvaney's online content that was specifically used to target, market to, and attract an audience of young people who are well below the legal drinking age in the United States, the senators claim. The letter outlined some of Mulvaney's TikTok videos that the senators said prove Mulvaney's appeal skewing towards younger viewers to legally drink beer. Mulvaney said last week that he's been feeling the backlash. What's sad is my page is like for a second was a pretty safe space, and then it sort of recently has become this like culture war in the comments, Mulvaney said. Cruz took his case to a receptive audience on Fox and Friends Thursday. Well, the thing is, if you make statements like you have been making, Dylan, you're going to constantly get arguments in your comments. You're just that kind of a figure, and I'm sure you embrace it because, again, you're a hardcore narcissist. It's very clear, but you cannot complain about it. Like, you know that this is going to happen. You know that you are trying to be controversial because it makes you stay relevant in the public eye. It gets people like myself making videos on you, other people making videos on you, and the more we talk about you, the more these stupid companies getting paid by ESG are going to try to go for people like you who have a massive following that are just grifting on the LGBTQ community till they make their millions of dollars and then they're going to just suddenly disappear. Dylan Mulvaney's not going to be around forever. Dylan Mulvaney's going to make his millions and he's going to run the fuck away and you're never going to hear from him again. But until that point, you're going to hear from him nonstop because he wants to get as much money as humanly possible from this amazing grift that women have allowed him to do. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.